2024 is the year of getting exposed, and as the year progresses, it seems to be that absolutely no one is safe. Now it seems to be Mr. Beast's turn, or more specifically one of his closest friends who's been the center of controversy since changing his gender a couple years back. Ava Kris Tyson is currently going viral for allegedly talking inappropriately to a minor through social media platforms, and while the alleged minor, who is now 20 years old, has spoken up about the alleged incident denying anything went down, fans aren't believing a word. Since Mr. Beast is the largest YouTuber in the world with over 300 million subscribers on his main channel, he's known by every creator in the industry, and at some point has collaborated with many of them. This has caused many creators to stay silent on the topic and not address the situation like most would normally do if it were anybody else. One of the more recent examples is that of Dr. Disrespect, a streamer who also recently got exposed for talking inappropriately to a 17-year-old, and even going as far as settling in court. When the news came out of him having been involved in a situation like that, virtually every creator in his industry spoke up against his behavior and essentially immediately canceled him without knowing more details on the topic. Ava is not receiving the same treatment, and many assume it's because these creators are afraid to speak their mind and risk losing a future opportunity to collaborate with Mr. Beast. And even though Mr. Beast is not directly involved with the accusations regarding Ava, many fans are furious at the idea that he potentially knew about this situation and still chose to keep them around. Some of the biggest videos I saw on this topic that brought light to this situation are from two YouTubers that go by the name of Prism42 and Brion, who both cover the allegations in great detail. Streamers XQC, Nickmercs, and Sneeko are some of the few creators who immediately spoke out about the unjust bias creators that usually cover these topics are clearly showing. Sneeko tweeted out saying, "Why are all the Dr. Disrespect haters silent when transgender Kris Tyson gets accused of messaging children?" Followed by, "I was right about Kris from Mr. Beast and everyone else was wrong. Children should not be exposed to demonic trans ideology. All of you influencers not speaking up. Are Zionist bots afraid to lose a collab?" XQC said, "I follow mostly only influential creators here, yet most have been silent about the Kris Tyson situation. Pretty deviant behavior across the board. Weirdo. Can't wait to read some of the cope justifications on why it wasn't addressed. By the way, next time I'm adding the whole squad, stop hiding behind the noise." A lot of people commented that they agreed with his take on the topic, and many tagged the creators that were being silent on the topic. Nickmercs quote tweeted a post from last month where he had said, "You should be ashamed of yourself, leaving behind your wife and child to play pretend. One day you'll wake up and realize what you've done," and added a screenshot of Ava or Kris getting exposed saying, "Wow, who would have thought?" Valkyrae and Pokimane both put out statements as well after being tagged by their fans for being quiet on the topic. Valkyrae tweeted, "I'm still in the process of moving, so I haven't been able to fully keep up, but in the meantime, since I've been tagged a bunch, pedos equals bad. Trans does not equal pedo. The actions of one trans person does not mean all. Sucks to see so many anti-trans people act as if it does. I'm hoping Ava speaks up. Dr. Disrespect is still gross." Lastly, to the incels that only tagged Pokey and I to speak up, even though everybody did after D did himself. You're weird. Focus your hate towards the pedos for once. Pokimane tweeted, "I don't know all the details regarding the Ava situation, but I want to make it clear, any inappropriate behavior towards minors is unacceptable, regardless of who you are. And it's a shame that people will see this as an opportunity to attack the trans community as a whole. One person's actions does not reflect on every single trans person, so please don't view it that way." Tristan Tate even pitched in and said, "This isn't beyond fixing Mr. Beast. Denounce your friend's actions and axe him from the channel. Public statement. This isn't necessarily your fault. You shouldn't suffer for the perversions and sins of other people." Keemstar also said, "Mr. Beast connected me directly to Lava, the alleged Kris Tyson groomed victim. Lava said, I was not groomed by Kris Tyson. I did not meet Kris Tyson by myself. I meet Kris in the Mr. Beast crew with my family present. I ran a Discord with Kris Tyson when I was 13, and edgy, inappropriate jokes were said. That's it." Then he later reported an update saying, "Breaking, Kris Tyson is in talks to step away from the Mr. Beast brand. Trusted source from within tells me." So far, the only official statements that Mr. Beast has made was the one where he asked Keemstar to share the alleged victim statement, where he said that nothing had happened between the two. It's more than likely that this will end up forcing Ava to completely separate from the Mr. Beast brand to prevent further damage to go on. But what do you guys think about all of this?
Yeah, we can probably talk about the Ava stuff now. It's been 10 minutes, so I'll probably get asked like 4,500 more times over the next hour or so, but hopefully now there'll be a timestamp here that people will refuse to rewind to and still inundate me with questions asking the same fucking thing over and over again and saying I'm ignoring it. Yeah, so I went through a lot of the Ava stuff, It's definitely not looking good. So I saw quite a few of the messages, and then one of the main person being talked about came forward saying they weren't groomed and that it wasn't weird, but the whole thing is, if you were groomed, you're probably not going to be super aware of it. And from the messages I saw, that shit is completely unacceptable to be saying to a child under any circumstances. And then I saw people saying it was a group chat, but an adult being in a group chat with children and then still saying edgy or inappropriate shit is still unacceptable. Like that, like there's no context that makes it better. And then I saw the tweets where Ava would like reply to lolly and like drawn CP or whatever with really gross shit. Like the whole thing is bad. Like I don't think there's any lens where it isn't gross. At least not from everything I saw. But as far as I know, Ava hasn't made a statement yet. I don't think anyone has. So I guess we'll see, but it is definitely not looking good. There's just never any justification for saying anything weird like that to someone that is underage. Like, I don't know why you would be in a group chat with them in the first place. You think Mr. Beast knows about it? No. I highly doubt it. I would be shocked. He is so fucking busy, he probably hasn't seen a single thing from everything going on Twitter at the moment. That would be my guess.
BW, Kris Tyson reached out to this guy when he was 13 years old. Except the problem with that is Kris Tyson started an online friendship with this guy when he was only 13 years old. Now the problem with that is Kris Tyson was born in July of 1996. Lava GS was born on November 12th, 2003. The problem with that is that there's a 7-year age gap. So when you started socializing with this guy online and building an online connection in some sort of friendship and you talking to this guy, playing video games with him, socializing, he was only 13 years old. He was in middle school and you were in college. You were 20 years old. So that's what I'm going to talk about, is why is it that someone who is in college, who is like a sophomore or junior at that point, what are you doing making friends with a middle schooler? When he was 16, he was in a Mr. Beast video. He asked Jimmy, how hard do you want it? 68 million people have seen it. What I want to start out with is when this guy was really young, he won some sort of competition or was involved, and he DM'd Mr. Beast on Twitter and got sent a knife signed by Mr. Beast. He was like 12 or something. And it was a karambit signed by Mr. Beast. It was a CSGO karambit. Sure, that seems to be the first interaction that I can tell. At this point, you already have been talking to this guy. You're already friends with this guy. You already know this guy. And what is he? What are you saying here? So you post something that says, "Guys, we are so close to our goal. Oh my God, one more Patreon and I'm releasing my nudes." And of course, this is some poorly made joke. I've seen these kinds of jokes online before, where it says, "Oh, if this post gets 1 like, I'll kill myself," and then the person likes it. It's this kind of joke. It says a goal of $3. I want to see if anyone is dumb enough to give me money. But of course, it's only you and this other guy in this Twitter thread. And this is the part I have a problem with. This isn't a group chat. This is literally just him and this other guy that he's been talking to and that he's friends with online. He says, Lava says, "I'm your first Patreon, big boy." Now keep in mind, Kris Tyson, he was born July 1996. So he would have been 22 years old at the time, or around that age. And you have this guy who was born in November 12, 2003. He would have been 14. And of course, here he is. "I'm your first Patreon, big boy," which he's calling him big boy. And he shows that he donated some money. He donated like $1 or something. So it's not enough to meet the goal. And he says, "But not $5. Pathetic. Just kidding. Kissy face."